Welcome back to In the Middle, where we talk about the things folks love to argue about, but hate to understand. I'm George Middleton, and today we're talking about something that's been creeping up on us for a long time: authoritarianism in America. Now, before you say, George, that's politics. I don't do politics. Let me stop you. If you live here, breathe here, and scroll here, you're already in it. You might not play the game, but the game is definitely playing you. Let's start with a question. How did you not recognize the signs? The red flags weren't hiding. They were everywhere, waving in the wind like parade banners. This last campaign sounded less like democracy and more like a loyalty oath. The message was simple: trust me, not the system. And too many people said, finally, someone who'll take control. That's not democracy. That's a slow slide into dictatorship dressed up as strength. Let's break it down. This campaign wasn't about policy, it was about power. They talked about centralizing authority, giving one person control over thousands of public servants. They wanted to fire their professionals and replace them with loyalists. That's not reform. That's a takeover. Then came the loyalty test. Didn't matter if you were qualified. Just mattered if you'd salute the boss. Law enforcement, intelligence, the courts, all expected to fall in line. And the language? Whew. Opponents weren't just wrong, they were enemies. Protesters weren't citizens, they were threats. That's not leadership. That's intimidation with a flag wrapped around it. And when the campaign started talking about controlling the message, creating their own quote-unquote truth channel to bypass the press, that wasn't transparency. That was propaganda with a Wi-Fi password. Now, here's the part that stings, because it worked. You'd think after years of chaos, people would have learned. But nope. They doubled down. Why? Because pain makes people desperate, and desperation makes people dangerous. Folks were hurting, inflation, rent, groceries, jobs, and this campaign came along promising to fix it all. They said, we'll bring back the good old days. MAGA, baby. And people believed them, even though those good old days weren't good for everybody. Then there's the cultural fear. America's changing, browner, younger, more diverse, more vocal. And for some folks, that feels like loss. They don't see progress, they see replacement. Add in the distrust, nobody believes anything anymore. The media lies, the government lies. Your cousin's Facebook page lies. So when someone says, they're all lying except me, people say, finally someone honest. That's how authoritarianism wins, not with tanks, but with trust. You stop believing in the system, and you start believing in the savior. Now let's talk about the part that never makes the headlines: whiteness. Every time this country feels like it's shifting, like the balance of power might actually even out, there's a backlash. And it's not new. It's baked into the DNA of the system. Whiteness in America has always been more than skin. It's been a social contract. A quiet promise that no matter how bad things get, you'll still be a rung above somebody else. But when that illusion starts to crack, when equality starts looking real, some folks panic, and that panic becomes politics. That's how white identity gets weaponized. Not through hoods and torches anymore, but through slogans and sound bites. Take back our country, protect our heritage, defend Western civilization. Those aren't policies. Those are dog whistles with subwoofers. Authoritarian movements always need a pure people and a corrupt enemy. And in America, that line has always been drawn along color. Let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about one campaign. This is about the soil that makes those campaigns possible. Race, as science tells us, is a social construct. It's not biological. It's not genetic. It's a story we made up to justify who gets to win and who gets to lose. America built its wealth, its laws, its identity on that lie. Whiteness became the default, the invisible norm, and everything else was other. So when people say, this isn't who we are, I say, oh yes it is. It's exactly who we've been. Authoritarianism doesn't come out of nowhere. It grows in the cracks of inequality. It feeds on fear, nostalgia, and the belief that some people are more American than others. Every time equality moves forward, the system tries to pull it back. That's the cycle. Progress, panic, backlash, repeat. And every time the same tools get used. Status anxiety. They're taking what's ours. Identity crisis. We're losing our culture. Scapegoating. They're the reason you're struggling. No, you're struggling because the powerful keep selling you fear instead of fairness. And fear is the cheapest product in politics. So, how do we fix this? How do we stop the next strongman before they show up with a new slogan and a fresh logo? We start by telling the truth, all of it. Expose whiteness for what it actually is, a construct, not a birthright. Build a national identity based on shared values, not shared skin. Make equality tangible, not just a word in a speech. And teach real history, not the sanitized version that makes everybody comfortable. Because you can't heal what you won't face, and you can't fix democracy while pretending supremacy was just a phase. We've got to stop waiting for kings and start acting like citizens. Stop worshiping politicians and start holding them accountable. Stop confusing charisma with character. And here's the truth nobody wants to face. Protest without personal change is performance. You can march every weekend, post every hashtag, chant every slogan. But if you're not willing to confront the you that benefits from the system you claim to hate, then you're just decorating the problem. Real change starts with the mirror, not the megaphone. And that means re-examining your relationship with whiteness, not as guilt, but as honesty. Because you can't dismantle a system while still protecting your place inside it. Until people are ready to trade comfort for conscience, every protest will just be a remix of the same old song, loud, passionate, and going nowhere. America's always had two stories running at the same time. One about freedom and one about control. One about equality and one about hierarchy. And every generation has to decide which story it's going to tell next. We can keep pretending we're innocent, or we can grow up and get honest. Because the truth is, you don't get kings in a democracy. You get the government you deserve. So if you want better, be better. If you want justice, demand it. If you want freedom, fight for it. Because the next time somebody stands up on a stage and says, "Only I can fix it," the right answer isn't applause. It's, "No, you can't. We the people can." That's it for today, family. If this episode made you think or made you mad, good. That means you're paying attention. Follow In the Middle wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, democracy doesn't die in darkness. It dies in denial. I'm George Middleton. No kings, no excuses. You get the government you deserve. Disclaimer note. This piece isn't a critique of the current president. It's a critique of you. The reader, the listener, the voter, the citizen. Vote for whoever you want. Support whoever you prefer. That's your right. And nobody's taking that from you. But be honest about it. Don't gaslight yourself or me by saying, "This isn't what I voted for." Because it is. Every policy, every attitude, every outcome, it all comes from choices we made or silence we kept. This isn't about one person in power. It's about the power we keep handing over, pretending we didn't. So no, this isn't a takedown of any president. It's a mirror for the people who put them there. Before we go, I want to open this conversation up. If you've got something to say, if you disagree, or if you've got a perspective I need to hear, I want you on the show. We're building a space for real talk, real debate, and real solutions. So, if you'd like to be a future panelist or guest on In the Middle, head over to georgemiddletonconsulting.com and fill out the contact section. Tell me who you are, what you think, and why you want to join the conversation. Because this podcast isn't just about me talking. It's about us learning together.